we found ourselves still at the aftermath of the Pyval debacle gone wrong. Coming onto the scene, we found a petting zoo of Duca and Quinala that had kind of run amok. The animals leaving their cages and fighting back. So bravely, we stepped in, and without killing any of the animals, kind of corralled them back into their cages or hog-tied them down, or in some cases, we just went down and died, or went unconscious again, in my case.
Cases.
But after rescuing both Duca Quinala and the children, we formed a party and we kind of moved ourselves to the temple, where the kind of the epicenter of the relief efforts. Some of us got some healing, some of us did not. At the temple itself, we found Arenaline Draelus, the paladin captain, and the Bishop Roland Maylor. Me and the paladin captain had some words. She was pretty heated with me for failing in my duties, which I don't think I did. I think I pretty much excelled.
And Thane diffused it.
And Thane diffused it.
So
and that is kind of where we left off, if I remember correctly.
So the name again, Erlin Drellus.
Erlin.
I think I have it spelled rightly. I just think I'm saying it wrong. Erlin.
You know what? It's fantasy.
I would have pronounced it right if I did the recap.
Yeah, but you didn't do the recap,
Probably.
so like negative points for you. For the recap, update me on the status of your. Update me on the inspiration points you hold.
So I had Ultra Instinct, which I burned. I had Inspiration that I haven't used yet. I think that's what we were all given a blanket one.
Used that. I see.
I still haven't used that. But that's just a regular Inspiration for my own rolls.
Grant yourself.
Okay.
5 points returned to your lay on hands.
Perfect. That's my main stat.
You are in a holy place, and the gods smile favorably upon you.
As they should be so. My buddy's Jesus. What's yours?
I got the power of God and anime on my side.
I don't have left hand.
Yeah, you were being berated by the paladin captain, a very stressed Erlin Drellus, Spring Eladrin, follower of Velus Vidar. And she seems to believe that you all are the cause of everything that's occurred. And it doesn't seem that her opinions will be changed very easily, if at all. Especially with somebody telling her to piss off directly to her face. She did not take kindly to that. So, yeah, you're in a bit of a sticky situation. And where we left off, an older gentleman was making his way over towards you. A human man, mid-40s, tanned skin. And Duncan, you recognize him as Bishop Roland Maylor. He is kind of the current leader, quote-unquote, of the Temple District. The kind of head of operations in general. He's not necessarily in charge generally, but in times like this, he does tend to kind of take charge of the efforts of the various clerics and paladins alongside Erlin. And he is making his way over toward y'all. I believe Brun still has a hand over somebody's face
He does.
because they cannot be trusted around authority.
Thane loves
Um,
authority, just not when they're this wrong.
You all have, I'll say, about 30 seconds before the bishop approaches. If you have anything
So-
final to say to the
I know
paladin
the
captain.
bishop.
You do.
I know the bishop. Do I know what kind of religion he is based on?
Oh, yeah. Guess I could give you that. He is a follower of Veriti, the Relentless. That's one
Veriti
of
the
the wilds. That is goddess of the hunt. So she tends to encourage outdoor skills, self-reliance, that kind of thing. Providing for oneself through your own efforts and actions in the world. So that is Veriti. Veriti.
Okay.
And as he gets closer, you'll see an emblem that he wears. Crossed arrows, foliage kind of thing. It's not very ostentatious. This man looks like he has, in fact, spent most of his life outdoors, under the sun, working with his hands. He does have a bow on his back, as though he is ready to go if he needs to, but for now he's been staying put. Before the paladin captain came over to yell at you guys, they had been conversing and disseminating orders, coordinating efforts. Anything else y'all want to know about this man as he approaches?
No, but as I see him kind of approaching, I think Duncan's gonna kind of like again, straighten himself out, ready for company.
Does he look as angry as Erlen did? Is he approaching?
He looks frustrated. He looks tired. He looks worn out at the moment. Around this time, we're getting toward like 5-6 o'clock in the evening. The sun that had been streaming straight down through the skylight of the temple is now kind of off to the side. The light is illuminating a wall at the moment as the sun descends for the evening. So it's been a few hours since everything kicked off, though it may not seem like it.
A long day.
It has been a very
feels
long
like it's
day.
been 13 hours.
Is Erlen still
Very
here,
specific.
or is she going off to do her own thing now?
She has been snagged by what looks to be a runner. A younger paladin. This one, let me see. This one that has grabbed her is another of the followers of Velos Vidar. Has the fist emblem with the wings behind it. So they're currently conversing.
Ron would probably feel like Thane loosen up a little bit as she walks away. And as she goes and like Brun's kind of like letting Thane go a little bit, Thane's just going to be like, it's a good thing you held us back because we were. And then Thane's just going to like lean up against Brun. Like, it's just this false bravado. Like, yeah, I would have fought her. But,
He'll kind of pat you on the shoulder. Like, I know, buddy. I know. I'm not a fan either. And if you all recall, Duncan, you had the emblem, the holy symbol, from
Yeah, I did.
Pivel in your hand. That is still glowing, as are all of your marks.
Like a little nub.
Not super bright, not as bright as when you were in front of Jurgensen, for instance. But visible enough if somebody's close to you.
That was the sigil that was for was something. Was it that similar to the hunt? Was that similar to like
that
it was
one
like an outdoorsy one?
That one would have been very similar to the hunt. Different branch of the wild. But a lot of foliage. Because Pivel was directly descended from an individual deity from the wild, his holy symbol is kind of unique for his family, basically, in that it's kind of meadowy grasses along the sides forming kind of a frame, and some sunlight kind of beaming down onto it. So it is distinct from all of the other emblems you've seen around. And you've seen quite a few. There were paladins that were outside holding kind of a line around the temple. Different insignias, several Vidar, Velos Vidar ones with variations on the winged fist. Most of them some form of gauntlet, a couple with weapons in hand, that kind of emblem. Some you would have seen, what is her name? Is it Seirani? Yeah, some Seirani paladins. So that's Goddess of the Sun. A triangle, a series of triangles with a blazing sun at the peak. You would have seen a couple of wild paladins, variations of green for their clothing, and then a lot of floral motifs amongst them. But kind of a smattering of all of the different branches. And inside, over where a triage is, where people are getting treatment, again, a variety of clerics and healers. And some that they don't look like holy folk, but they are still helping with treatment. So you would assume some of these folks are probably outdoorsmen or farm folk who are familiar with how to treat certain wounds, smaller wounds. Resetting a shoulder, that kind of thing. That you don't want to have to trek into town to see a doctor if you can just reset it yourself and heal up just fine and get back to work. So people are trying to help wherever they can at the moment.
Question.
Thane's gonna... Sorry.
Go ahead, Derek.
I just want to see, when I approached the druids, like a few minutes beforehand, did I feel that sigil start to burn a little more, similar to Jurgensen?
It wasn't as intense, but as you've kind of walked through the crowd here and there, you'd feel just a slight bit more or less. There seems to be levels to it.
Okay.
There's some hot and cold.
Beep, 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 beep. What were you going to ask, Andrew?
Thane's just going to grab an extra piece of clothing or something from their bag that they retrieved at the White Hart, and they're going to throw that like over their eye as if like they've been wounded in battle, just to cover the what's glowing on their face.
Okay. Yeah. I'll say just about as you're finishing that up, seating your helmet back on your head, Bishop will wander on over. As I said, he looks frustrated, right? Like there's a lot going on that he's had to deal with today. And while it's being handled to the best of their abilities, it's still a lot to ask of a few people, right? And he kind of takes a look at you guys and the current state of you. Rough day, huh?
You can say that. It's nice to see you again, Bishop Maylor. How are you holding up?
As well as anyone, I suppose. I'm told you've all caused quite a stir. Would you
I
care
think
to
a
tell
stir
me
was
about
caused
it?
around us, but yeah, absolutely.
His
a couple
eyes
of hours ago.
are kind
Is there
as
somewhere
he's
more
saying
private
this.
Sorry. Is there somewhere more private?
I suppose one of the side offices would be a better place for this conversation.
Yeah, I think I would agree too.
If you'll all follow me. And he'll guide you into kind of side wing, smaller rooms for gatherings, that kind of deal. Pull over a couple of chairs from the sides where they've been stashed and stored. You can hear through the hallway in these other rooms some of the worse cases of wounded people who are screaming in pain or being treated, and it's not a pretty process. They've tried to kind of isolate them, give them some dignity in their treatment, and protect the people in the main room from the worst scenes as well. And he settles into a chair pretty heavily, kind of like rubbing his knee a little bit. Brun is going to stand in the back of the room and not take a seat.
Is anybody? Are there seats for us to take?
Yeah, he pulled over a couple of seats as he kind of came in.
Is there any seats
sat
by
one down to
table?
face you all.
Things laying on the floor. Is there any seats that are near a table? That,
I'll say there's a
Duncan could
side
potentially
table.
put his. Okay, and Duncan's gonna kind of try like put his arm under it a little bit without being too conspicuous. His left arm, the one that has the sigil on it.
Okay. Navos, how are you posting up?
I think Navos will just be crouching right now, but like you can still see like his eye line from the table, just kind of staring like this.
With his one eye.
All right. And Thane is on the floor, you said?
Oh yeah, Thane's just laying like on his back, on their back on the
You
floor.
sleep where you can.
So,
I suppose.
today, shall I start, or would you lot like to?
I mean, I think the day's events kind of we're all questioning, but from our perspective, the day started with us being assigned to Hyvel to kind of protect him, so that the four of us kind of stayed together. And we showed him around, showed him the sights. Everything was seemingly normal. I noticed that Pyvel had some sort of allergic reaction. I brought it up to him. He said, I'm allergic to paprika, which is not so common, but neither are ASMR. So I took him to an herbologist that I knew. We gave him some ointments. I made him a little ointment that he put on. It seemed to have alleviated the itching. And then next I know that he was being summoned to give his speech and his blessing on, the show floor for the event. So we took him over there. Everything seemed normal, and all of a sudden, he started kind of like lighting up, and then, I don't know what else to call it besides a self-explosion. And he gave us this sigil, and I'll produce the sigil. And told us to find the Archbishop and give it to him.
As you pull the holy symbol out, You see a few different emotions pass across the bishop's face. Like on one hand, there's a bit of shock. It is not normal for holy
kind of an
symbols to
insight
be passed
check on
around.
that,
Yeah, sure.
just to kind of see if like I recognize it, he recognizes it.
Yeah,
If he's kind of
absolutely.
like afraid of it. Let's see, 18, 14 plus 4.
Yeah, so it's not, like I was saying, it's not normal for a holy symbol to be handed out to other people. And the fact that it is in your hands, it says something to the bishop. So there's the initial shock of seeing Pyvel's holy symbol. He does seem to recognize this symbol. Like I said, fairly uncommon design, very specific in who it's for. There's almost relief as well. And then it's very serious. How many?
As I try to show it, I'll see those symbols or see those expressions that he makes, and I'll kind of slip it back into my pocket before he can reach to grab for it.
And he'll drop his hand. How many people know you have that?
How many
Whoever's
people
in the
know that we
crowd.
have that?
Yeah, I mean,
But I think they were too busy with the explosion. The explosion happened exactly as he was handing it off to me.
yeah, the cult might know.
The what?
Oh, the cult, they had one of these, and I'm going to hold up the sigil that I had taken.
We all have
Bust it up.
sigils. Navos was yours.
Totem. And he'll look at that one. Let's... I'm not familiar with that one. We'll hold on to that for just a moment. Let's focus on what you have, Duncan. Is there anyone else who knows you have that?
You, the four of us, and the captain out there.
And he'll kind of nod as he's like mulling some things over. Good. I would not recommend you show many people that item. There are several in the town here already who are willing to believe that today's events are entirely due to the four of you. Marlowe
Well, Miss Towner,
spoke... Pardon?
No, please continue.
Marlowe
Tell us more
spoke.
about how terrible we are.
Marlowe spoke well of the four of you after you had been assigned community service. I chatted with him later on in his duties, so I always like to stop and check on him. And he mentioned a few things. But the point is, he spoke highly of you lot. And I trust his judgment. I, myself, while I do not have answers, and I was not in certain places at certain times, I trust his judgment. I do not believe, as Silverwater, Lord Silverwater has claimed, that you four are the issue here. The council, however, I do not hold sway. It is council domain to make certain choices and decisions. They are decided by people of the town. It is their purpose to make decisions for the best interests of all.
I mean,
I
we
will
have
speak
nothing
to
to
them.
hide.
But
I mean,
I appreciate that. I will speak to them. However, with a lord's son calling for your execution, it will be very, very difficult, even with my backing, to ensure that you will walk freely.
Your Grace. Thane's sat up at the mention of Silverwater.
He kind of
is-
chuckles at being called your grace. Please. Roland.
Is Lord Silverwater or his son, are they around?
why we're trying to go for round 2?
No, we're just curious if they led any rescue efforts for people in the city, with how brave they are, and we had the opportunity to fight his son.
Yes,
as maybe you are aware,
heard of that.
we got the impression that he did not have very much experience in the field actually doing things. So we were just curious if maybe he gained some experience in this event. Or was he behind a wall?
I have been here leading efforts. I'm not sure his particular involvement. I do believe by now they have been evacuated from the town and sent home with their caravan. So while they are no longer here, their influence does remain, which is rather unfortunate for all four of you. And he pauses for a bit, considering the things you've all said, and he gets a little bit of a look. Would you submit to Inquisition? And this is an open question to the entire group.
We have nothing to hide, and as I've always said, the truth is a way of coming out. So, I mean, put me in the fire. I'll show you that there's nothing but coals.
And run from behind you guys. Is this mundane? Or do you have a sparkle night? And the bishop, hearing Sparkle Night, hides a very quick smirk because he knows exactly the type of person that would say something like that. We do have a Solar Knight who is, if she were to believe your story, her word would, for the most part, supersede the council.
We do not submit to anybody if our integrity or if what we did is being called into question. Then we request to be questioned in front of the community and let the community decide. We don't know this Solar Knight. We don't recognize the power that she has over us. Who is this person?
Jepka is a well-respected paladin. She has been with the... hold please, sorry. This is my brain stopping for a brief moment. She has been with the Order of the Shining Truth for a substantial amount of time. Her
Is
presence
her-
on a battlefield has turned tides. Which is why I believe if you could convince her of your truth, you would be free to leave.
So Duncan picked up
an elected one.
One
Did the people
question
put
at a
her
time,
in
sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Did the people put her in this position? Is it an elected position, or is she is judge, jury, and potentially executioner in our case here? We're handing all of our agency to a person that we've never met.
Make for me a religion check.
while he's checking.
Yeah.
When Duncan had heard that he was saying the word Inquisition, is
Capital I,
or sorry,
Inquisition.
Interrogation. Did that have any like subtle other meaning to it, or was it just like, oh, she's going to take you in for a line of questioning, or is there like she's going to read our minds or magically torture us until we tell us the truth? Did it seem like there was any like back inquisition, like he did air quotes?
There is an understanding behind the word Inquisition as he is saying it. Why don't you
Religion
also
spark
make
words.
for me a religion check
Okay. We
to
can do
see
his first.
how familiar you are with the this order of the Shining Truth.
And rolled a 2.
You rolled a what?
2.
Oh. Well then. You really don't know much about this paladin order, these Knights of the Sun. You know that they're kind of flashy. You know that you've seen a couple of them mixed in with the Velos Vidar followers. You saw that triangle split into 3 with the blazing sun at the top. That emblem. But beyond that, the tenets and such you're not so familiar with. Duncan, what'd you roll?
10 plus 2, so 12.
12. You would know that Knights of the Sun, they do not lie. They do not mince words. One of their primary things is arbitrating justice. They tend to be the people that you turn to for an unbiased judgment. So to have someone pose inquisition by such a knight, you would be, from them, fairly represented, depending on how they believe you. If
I
it
think
came
more
down
so-
to it,
My question
magic
was,
could be
what does-
involved.
Yeah, like what does this Inquisition entail?
Magic could be involved.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So for these paladins,
Neighbors.
it seems like they specialize in this magic. If Pival used his to enhance the growth of the meadows, how can we be sure that Jebka can't cause something similar that happened to us earlier? Is this a worry? What if this all starts again?
At this point, we don't know what is happening. What we do know is that so far, the magical efforts of paladins and, to an extent, our clerics have not shown signs of similar effects. We don't know why. We're not sure what has caused Pyvel's departure. There's just too many unknowns at this point. And we haven't been able to send word to the city either. That is next
If I
up.
may ask, so you have the word of the Lord's Son saying that, you know, we're ne'er-do-wells, if you will. But what actual evidence is there that we actually did anything wrong besides, you know, our one task of protecting Pyvel? I guess failed, but we did our best. You know?
You are right to question the Lord's Son.
Surely the council can't believe him over the mountains of no evidence that they have.
Duncan, you must understand the position
I understand
we are in.
quite well, but my integrity is on the line, and like
I
that
can
is
respect
something
that.
I would.
Truly, I can. It is difficult to fully go against the word of someone who is politically influential.
I agree.
And
I agree with you there.
That is a dance we must play, and that is
One of the
why
very
I've
few rules that
suggested
I-
Jepka,
One of the very few
because
rules
he
that I live
cannot
by.
argue with her.
Rule 94. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. You're not going to find any. And that's my point.
Evidence
front of the
doesn't
council.
matter.
We'll plead our case.
But this is justice. From the moment that we came into this city, we knew that the other shoe was going to drop at some point. We knew that things here seemed too good to be true. And like at this point, Thane's like standing back up. They got like it's not quite a second wind because they're not in good shape. But this is
You're not a
exactly
fighter.
it. Like this is justice. This is
Ordinary justice is done differently. Ordinary justice is by the people, but this is not an ordinary case. I cannot
justice is justice.
understate that enough.
This is the bourgeoisie wielding their power over those who are weaker than them. This is, and Thane's just
think you're reading into it too much.
His face kind of like drops into his hands a little bit, and he's like rubbing his temples. He's like,
This is it. This is the few powerful people inflicting their will upon the many who hold nothing.
Brun from the
This is no
back
justice.
is just like, I would like to go take a nap. Everything hurts. I will not be talking to your Inquisitor. And he's gonna kind of sidle up toward the door like he's ready to leave at any moment. The bishop, face in hands. I left the city because of politics. I am not arguing with you that it is unfair. Unfortunately, my friends, the world is unfair sometimes. And this is one such time. I believe you. You had Marlowe backing you. You have not shown me that you are these ne'er-do-wells that the Lord Silverwater would have us believe. However, the council
Raise a butt.
will do as they see fit to protect the town. And if the town were cut off from supplies or support from the city because one of their lords deemed it so, the people here would suffer. It is not fair. I understand that. I'm trying to give you the most fairness I can. But I am a single man. And though they have granted me the privilege of leading this district of the town, in the grand scheme, that does not matter. Evidence does not matter here. It is your word against theirs.
And we request that this inquisition be done in view of the public. For transparency's sake, for the sake of justice, we would be willing to subject ourselves to this farce if the people can be involved. If they are the ones who ultimately wield this power, they vote in the council, if they want us gone, then we'll go. But can this be done so that they can make their own choice and not be influenced by the power of one man? Howard, by the way, who ran from the city first chance he got.
That is a request you would have to make of Jepka. They are fair. You have my word of that. I am not so familiar with their work that I can speak for them. But, as I said, her word does carry a great deal of weight. She's earned that. Of that I can guarantee. What of you, Nevos?
I understand that honesty is going to be the best way to go about this, but is there anything else we can help use with Jepka herself to try to make this go as smoothly as possible? I've seen the looks I get, and I don't want that to be something that she looks on immediately.
And he sits back up and considers you. Like, this is a level of scrutiny that you tend to avoid, I would assume, where somebody is genuinely looking at you. He's taking in your words and what he can see of you hidden behind the table.
Oh, wrong way.
You gotta get you a hat with like a big eyeball on it. You just do that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the big white circle there. I do not believe that she would judge you on your appearance, if that is your concern. Though she is from the city, she would see justice done, regardless of the people involved.
Would you know if she would have seen the attraction that I tried to bring about to enter the festival?
Having not been there myself, I could not say.
Okay.
If you would be willing to speak with her, you would have to wait here in the temple until she could return. She's been out most of the day, working alongside everyone else. And I have not seen her return yet. This would not happen right now. It would have to wait until she returns. And I would propose in the morning, after everyone has been able to settle in for a bit, calm down and regain a sense of community.
Besides a rest, is there anything else we could possibly help with?
For now, I think it would be in your best interest to lay low, not stir things up. With everybody in the current state where they are tired and confused and hurt, and panicked, I would rather not see this relatively safe place turned into a madhouse.
Neither would we. That's kind of why we're doing what we're doing right now.
And he looks to Thane. Pissing off the paladin captain. Not your best move.
Some of us have more bolder personalities, but
I have noticed.
She was wrong. Just because she's in a position of power doesn't mean that she can say what she wants with infallibility. I mean, she was wrong, and she deserved to be called out for it. Regardless of that, is there violence still happening in the city? Are these attacks still going on? Shouldn't that maybe be the priority before we're put on trial here, or Inquisition, or whatever? Shouldn't we make sure that people are safe first?
My friend, I say this with all the kindness I have. You look like shit. I don't believe throwing yourself at the mercy of what's going on out there right now is in your best interest.
There are many people outside of this temple who are in way worse shape than we are. If we can help them.
And it is my job, along with our paladin captain, to send our forces around and do our best to help them. And we are trying. Believe me, we are trying. I would not see you throw yourself out there again in your current state. That would be a failing on my part.
Do we have a rough estimate or casualties? Yeah.
No. We do not know what is happening. And the volatility of everything is causing that answer to waver every time we get a number.
How about how many that have been saved? Do we know how many made it to the temple?
Within the temple, he starts tallying. And there's an acuity to this man. While he is a little bit older, his mind is sharp. He has been paying attention to all of the details. Right? He's been taking everything in. Our current estimate for the people who have come in through the front doors, at least, 2,487.
The population of the town?
Over 5,000. I do not know how many have fled. I do not know how many have fallen. I am hopeful that the other, at least 2,500 of this town, are outside the walls. And though I hope that, I know it is not the case. That does not account for all of the visitors we had as well.
Visitors.
Go rest, the four of you. And when you're ready, you can tell me why your hand is glowing, Duncan.
I only have one hand, and I'm going to put it up.
And he's going to stand up, give you kind of like a wry look, and make his way out past Brun, leaving you four alone.
Oof, all right. What a day, guys. What a day.
And Brun from behind you. You really should have said no. I don't care what her name is or who she is. Inquisition is not something you want to be part of.
What makes you say that?
I've seen it. As the big
Good
guy,
job,
they like to pin blame on me.
Mm-hmm.
I've had my fair share of unjust trials.
You think
As I
they would
said,
end it?
for right now, I just want to rest. That goat hit very hard. And he kind of creaks a little bit as he moves. You can hear a bit of a whistle as he's breathing, where there's probably a very small tear in a lung or something from a rib.
Yeah, you should probably go lay down and maybe get that looked at when somebody has a chance.
I think I'm going to check with the clerics.
Yes, we'll catch up later.
Be careful what you say to their Sun Knight. And he's gonna head out and go find a place to lay down. Pull a couple pews together, create a bed, and start snoring. It rumbles to the ground.
Okay, Navos, do you have a plan for how we intend to defend ourselves? This Inquisition? We think if we can get this in front of people and let them hear what we have to say, then maybe that would help. But
I mean, let's look at the facts. I don't, you don't, surely he doesn't have the power to kill a godson.
Godson.
The rival.
Yeah, I mean, you and I do not have magical abilities capable of that. That is true. But if one of us is more guilty than the others, do we all suffer because of it?
Then I guess the question is does anyone in this room have anything to be guilty of? Because I sure don't.
I'm starting to think you probably should not have thrown that spear at me.
Should have let you leave?
Yes.
Well, we got into this together. We might as well get through it together. But Davos, I mean, we have a moment here to discuss this. What is up with you? What happened?
Better question, where's the body?
Who is she?
I wish I knew where the body was.
Well, I guess it was in the song.
I'll be honest, I I've only recently had any magic abilities. If you've seen me use whatever that was that blows away parts of the body, that's the first time I've done it. I don't know where I'm from.
Is this like?
Is that a metaphor? Actually,
Yeah,
not,
this is
no.
That one is honest.
How old are you?
The last time I remember, I was mid-20s.
The last time you remember, you were mid-20s? Well, how long ago was that?
Derek, you want to roll for that one?
Yeah.
Roll a
history
D100.
check.
It's pretty good. 18 plus whatever you want for that.
You remember it has been about 27 years since you met the halfling family. I think it was halflings, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's been about 27 years from that point. Before that, things are fuzzy.
So you'll see my eye kind of flicker around a bit. Well, if it was close to 3 decades since then, I've got to be at least 60s, maybe further. It's been a long time.
And you've never seen anything like this?
No.
Or done anything like this?
I have seen movements that should not have been made.
Movements in what sense?
Things just change. Things appear. Things disappear. I have not caused them, but they just sit.
Things disappear like the kid? Brun's kid?
That one, I'm not sure. Maybe the triplicate sound? Possibly. It's just these random effects.
Well,
Neros,
we don't know what...
as you're talking,
Oh no.
you're talking about these different effects and such, and normally you would feel that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
It's not there.
If I can be honest, when I talk about something like this, my head feels like it's going to explode. And
Like literally explode or a migraine? Because I see somebody else head
Yes.
explode. Still got chunks on him.
Okay,
Now,
that may have been a little bit too far. Let's say very bad migraine. But for some reason, and it is horrifying, it is not happening right now.
and that's not normal?
It's not normal.
Well,
That's not normal.
So we don't know what they're going to bring up at this Inquisition. I think that we need to make sure that we have our story straight from the moment that we all came into this town. The things we did, the people we met.
I've been living in this town for I don't know how many years now, close to a
Since the start of the
decade.
festival. Since the start of the festival. Was there anything off with any interactions you two had? Was there, could something have been planted on us? Could we have, is there any possibility that we were used in some way to make this happen? And we just didn't know it.
Well,
The effects that I remember, for some reason, my name was not on the list when Marla was checking it when I first entered. And during that bar fight we had, chairs appeared where they weren't originally.
Oh, well,
Maybe.
we were at that bar fight. We don't recall things suddenly popping in and out of existence or whatever.
Maybe something with this Marlowe's checklist. Maybe it was a warning. I shouldn't have stayed.
Duncan, how about you? Anything interesting or weird happened to you?
I mean, this whole experience, I will say, has been pretty weird. This is, my third or fourth, spring festival here in Elrith, and this one really takes the cake. As far as us meeting each other, the only thing that stood out to me that was weird involves our friend who just left to go take a nap, Mr. Brunn. It seems he may be in some sort of shady business.
Oh,
I was tracking down... Oh, clearly, yes, but I don't know how much that relates to today's issue. Supposedly some... the symbol of that he wears around his neck is some sort of group that he is a part of. I don't know if they had any hands in today's event.
you know the name of the group?
I do not. I could only get so much information from him when we had last had our tete-a-tete talk.
He isn't local like you? He came in for the festival as well, or has he been here?
It seems like he came in in the festival as well. I haven't seen his face before.
Well, if he's had interactions, I mean, if he's a member of some shady organization and these knights have interacted with him, that could reflect poorly on the rest of us by association.
Is there anything we could possibly
Just a thought.
get from him to go about this? It sounds like he's dealt with it a few times. I mean, from the readings I did with him, this is not new at all. There's something in there.
Yeah, after we're done here, we need to rest. But maybe tomorrow, if we get the chance, we should try to get all of us to speak with him and see if he can give us any more hints of what to do.
The real question is, what does the metal dragon have to do with it? That is something I've never seen before.
Weird things happened to people when that spell had happened, when Pivel did their thing. Maybe that just changed things other than people.
Sure, but
We don't know. We don't know much about
the foot of caution. We don't know much about each other. Let's be honest. We're all strangers together. Besides each other's names, and his head is going to explode and things disappear in and out. And you seem to have a strong head about you.
Well,
we really don't know anything about each other.
We try to be pretty upfront about what we believe in and why. Yeah, I mean, all cards on the table with us. I mean, is there something that you want to know?
There's a lot that I want to know. Probably not enough time. the real heart of the matter is, we have this Inquisition. They're going to be asking us questions.
Well,
Is anybody hiding anything?
yes. So we were just about to bring this up. So Thane's going to pull out the mask that they were given.
Mm-hmm.
We were approached by someone we did not know. We thought maybe it was a member of the Celestial Collective of our group, of our organization, but we're not sure now if that was the truth. But they gave us this, and the mask is of a mind flayer. We don't know what it means. There's something written inside, right, Alexis? I wasn't able to decipher that, though.
Correct.
Can either
Are
of you
you-
read this?
Is it language?
Hold please.
I speak Common and Celestial.
Oh, I know what you speak. Don't worry.
Just,
I'm
friendly
going to send
reminder.
this over to somebody
Oh, hell
real quick. Do-do. Sorry, Discord is struggling just a smidge.
It's okay. I know that she said something to me, too, but I didn't record it. Can I recall what she said to me?
That's on you, buddy.
That's my poor note-taking skills.
I don't know how to help you there. Let
Oh,
me
no.
send this over.
She said something, but we were just too excited at the prospect of meeting someone else with the Celestial Collective. And then she left just so quickly.
There's too many coincidences for me to believe that this isn't something is afoot in Alrith. How are we connected to it?
I saw her face, right, Alexis? She was wearing like a hood.
It was a mask. A very
that's
simple
Yeah.
emotionless mask. Go ahead and roll. Ooh, roll me something. What are you feeling for this? History, an intelligence,
Remember?
a perception. Yeah, to remember details
I-
about the encounter.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that I suck as a person. Can I roll? I think probably just an intelligence to see how much I remember.
Go for it.
My intelligence is not great, so we'll see how this goes. It's only a 5.
You remember they had kind of maybe a lisp behind the mask, fully cloaked, wearing gloves and like fully covered, and kind of a clicking as they moved. But the details beyond that are very indistinct.
And Thane, so I'm gonna pass that on to them about the clicking and the mask and how they were very clearly like trying to disguise themselves. But can Thane? So I can't change my entire appearance to look like this person. Can I change my vocal cords to sound like her?
You would remember as well, because this was a big revelation for you the next day. The voice was in your head.
Right. Yes. Okay.
So you can try to mimic it,
Mhm.
but there are parts to the voice that you will not be able to vocalize, probably.
That's okay. In that case, I'll just pass on that maybe there was a lisp, like a clicking that I had heard when they moved. That's all.
Interesting. And so I don't recognize the language. I'm assuming
You do not.
I'll kind of pay it no more mention because I have no more.
It's kind of a scratched in script. Very fine marks that, if they had not been made in ink, you would not have noticed them on the surface.
Thane, would you allow me? And I'm going to start opening up my notebook, my little thing, rip out a page, and I have a little piece of charcoal to make a rubbing.
Yeah, go for it. I'll
Okay.
hand over the mask.
And I'll make a rubbing onto the sheet of paper so I can get as much of it onto the piece of paper as I can.
I'd like to take out my journal as well. I want to see, does this resemble anything to the symbols that I would use, besides writing in common?
Derek, did you get one I sent you?
Oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't look yet.
I was because I'm sitting here waiting for my inbox, waiting for something to come in, and nothing came. I was like, all right, so somebody else got it.
I thought it was Andrew the whole time. That's my bad.
Teehee, sorry.
So I'll
It is
paint
not
Thane
how you
back his
typically write.
mask. And I'll take that little piece of paper and put it back into my journal and put my journal away.
Yeah, I'll take a look and. I mean, I've done a lot of research with wherever I can. I can't get all of it, but it's something about in the darkness, the depths, catacombs, where masks, faces fall away. We are all connected.
Starting to sound culty.
I mean, it kind of sounds like what you had said at your little slogan when you were singing up there. Just similar kind of vibe.
Yeah, can Navis figure out how do I know this? Is there anything specific, or is it just from research?
It is almost undercommon. It's like a relative of undercommon.
Okay.
That's why it's kind of like certain words are very, very similar. It's kind of like if you speak German, like there are certain words in German that have carried into English fairly closely, right? Whereas the pattern of the structure of the sentence might be a little bit different, right? So it's kind of like that, where you can. It seems related to undercommon, which is why there's a little bit of uncertainty with certain parts of it.
Picking out that specific word and kind of sort of get there.
Yeah, it's kind of like Portuguese and Spanish. They're almost the same language, but they each have variations in syntax.
There's distinct differences,
Mhm.
yeah, that make it a little more difficult to get like an exact translation.
I'm assuming Thane has an idea of what this creature is also. Or do they not?
Do they?
I like to think that they would because of the nature of mind flayers. And
Oh, you mean for your mask?
Yes.
I will grant you knowledge of mind flayers.
So Thane will say, we weren't sure when we received the mask. We were a little confused. The Celestial Collective is not this. This is a corrupt thing. This is a collective, but it is not one that has the ideals that the Celestial Collective has in mind. So we don't know if it was a message or a warning or whatever, but Yeah, and Thane's just gonna put it back in their bag.
You say the Celestial Collective. Is that
Mm.
in? Is that just a saying? Is that just a metaphor, or are you from Toril?
So I'm from most recently Seneca. That's the capital city-state of the Celestial Collective. They have a couple other towns that they
So
run.
Toril being the planet that we're currently on.
Oh right, yeah,
And
yeah.
Players come from different planets.
I mean, we walked here. I mean, it took
Okay.
a long time, but yeah, I mean, we're we're part of this world. Like, we're not.
That's the mask, by the way. I was trying to find where I had seen that.
All right. That's very much.
Very finely crafted, some kind of papery
Mhm.
material. A lot of tight, neat decoration to it. Much more ornate than the mask worn by the individual who had presented it.
So we did put it on just to see if it did anything. To our understanding, it did not. We took it off right away, but it was just something that is odd and stood out to us. We did meet Vox as well at some point too, but that didn't really. Besides, him being a little creepy.
Yeah, I think Vox is up to something as well, as far as this shady business that Brun is a part of. I found that same sigil on a box with a hidden compartment full of drugs. Looked like he was being smuggled to the city.
Full of with a single
well,
joint.
there was. That's full in my book. They don't need to know that.
That is the most like. Oh man, that's
the
so
most
funny.
disappointed dad ever.
You're just
Overflowing
Is
with
this
drugs.
a weed?
Is this how much weeds is this? Is this laced? Yeah. So we found this box. It looked like it's involved in some sort of smuggling operation, and that is initially why I was investigating Brun, under the councilman's orders.
Strange mask and whatever the hell Navos did notwithstanding, we think that the rest of us, I mean, we know what happened. We met each other pretty early into this thing, before the festival even started, so, we understand the rest.
And while
think
I
we're
don't
okay.
see eye to eye with you, I think we have the same principles but different ways of going about it. And you, my cycloptic friend, I'm inclined to feel some sort of camaraderie. We seem to be stuck in the situation together. And if I may be so bold, I suggest that we have each other's backs on this. Just until whatever this is, kind of comes to a close, and we can kind of go back to our normal, maybe not so normal lives.
I would agree.
We have agreement on that?
I want the best for all of you. I mean, the only reason I'm traveled is to figure out what the hell I even am. So hopefully we can set this aside and I can keep moving on.
All right.
Ian's gonna put an arm on your shoulder. You got one of those?
I have a gun. I'm
And
just missing.
Thane-
Oh, him. Sorry.
on Navos.
Like I do have I have an arm. It's just my hand.
You are the same as everybody else, and don't ever forget it.
We're back to this again, huh?
Never change, Thane. Never change.
Thane is gonna get Thane's ready to collapse. Is there anything else that we need to go over before talking with Braun tomorrow? Well, it's just the three of us here.
Well, I mean, we have this Inquisition. I'm inclined to let it happen. I know Brun's a little scared of it, but it seems like he might have some things to hide. And then as soon as we can, as soon as Ulreth is safe and all right, we need to track down the Archbishop. There has to be some answers there.
We need to make sure that Braun gets this kid back. I mean, I think that in a way we were all there, and even though we specifically weren't tasked with this kid's protection, he went missing on our watch. So we think if we get out of this, we have other things that we would like to be tending to, but saving a kid sounds more important right now.
And I would agree with you on that. Nobody deserves the fate of some of those poor souls that kind of crossing our way in here. But first comes first, we do need rest. I have tons of injuries here. My ankles are killing me. Literally.
We will say that if we are really going to be pushing that this Inquisition happens in front of an audience, in front of the people, and if it doesn't, we are not content with being condemned by a kangaroo court behind closed doors.
I agree with you. However, I think there are other options, because I can see it in your eyes. Violence. There are other options besides violence.
There are.
We will figure this out as long as we stay true to ourselves and stay true to each other. We will get to the end of this. I can guarantee you that. I've seen worse things in my life.
I understand wanting to do this in front of the community, but we need a much larger distance between the audience and us. I brought it up earlier. I'm worried this could possibly happen again.
And we really don't know what these are. I'm going to hold up my little stump with the glowing illumination on it. That seems to connect us somehow. I'm not seeing it on any other.
Sorry. A little bit
I'm
of
just
lag on my side.
I was just going to say that I haven't noticed the symbol on anybody else. Besides the four of us.
So this is kind of the first you've looked
Recognized it.
at your sigils. And as you observe it, Duncan, you see a bit of a...
Do we all have the same sigil or different sigils?
Are you gonna compare?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
If you have
whip
matching
them out.
sigils?
Everybody, whip them out. Let's compare.
What if
See whose is
all
bigger?
of our sigils touch? We form like a giant creature, just like Gundam.
Oh man, Gundam battle.
We gotta go over to Sleeping Brun and grab a sigil.
Never grab a sleeping man's sigil.
Thane will move aside the thing they have on their eye.
And I'll first compare mine to Thane's eye.
So, looking at yours alone, Duncan, you see it shifts. There is movement to the markings, the individual parts of this sigil. It's not a static thing. And it does follow fairly closely like where your hand would have been.
So is it like floating or is it like on my skin?
It's kind of floating past the end of your nubbin.
So if I stick my finger through it, does it just like glide right through it like it's nothing there?
Yeah.
Okay. And
You
last
feel
question,
like a
probably
slight bit of heat. Just a slight
don't
bit.
recognize
It's
the
all kind
sigil,
of chilling
but
down.
does it appear like it is some sort of written language, even if I don't recognize it?
You
It moves and shifts, but
you can make me a check to answer that question. Give me an Arcana.
Can I assist?
yeah, I'm gonna be on Arcana check. I can do that.
Arcana or religion.
I'm gonna do religion because that's in my bonus. So
How
it'll be a
would
9.
you assist in this?
Thane would. I mean, obviously Thane would also be looking, but as they are doing that, can they close their eye, their good eye, so it's just the one that the sigil is on, and look at his sigil through mine? And does it change at all?
I will grant you advantage on that roll, Duncan.
Okay. So
Even
my
though
first
you
one
already
was
called the result.
Yeah, it was a 9. Well, 6 plus 3, but yep, the 9 stays.
Bad
Oof.
rolls today.
Yeah, I know. I got a 2.
Thane, as you kind of try this, shifting your perception through the other eye, you don't see much of it change. When you shift back to try to focus through that left eye, you do kind of see your own sigil. It's a very strange effect. Your eyes close. Like, you've closed your eyes before and like watched the light patterns as your rods and cones activate behind the eye. It's almost like that. You can't perfectly trace your own sigil. It's like as you move your eye, it's gonna shift.
It moved. It's like a floater.
But it's a very weird thing. But when your eyes open, like, you really don't notice it. So, Duncan, you don't recognize any language from this. There's something happening there, but you're really not sure what's going on.
Now, as the sigil moves and shifts, does it kind of land on, like, it stays like static for a second, and then shifts into something else, and then stays static for something?
It keeps adjusting.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright.
It is not a perfect replica of Thane's.
Mhm.
There are similar elements, similar kind of structures, I'll say, to it. Like an art movement.
Mhm.
Where if two completely separate pieces are made by two separate artists, but in the same time frame with the same intentions behind it, you're still going to get similar elements into them, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of like that, where they're not perfectly matched, but they are part of a set, I guess I'll say.
Okay.
In this case, one artist created multiple works. And you do see Thane's is also shifting.
If I move my sigil closer to his, is there any reaction?
You explode. No.
And we all
Immediately.
die.
Thane's brain explodes out the back. No.
Finally, I shut him up.
Oh. There's really not much of a reaction.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just kind of keep it at that, and if we have nothing else
Comparing
to
to
do.
Navos's as well, Navos, yours was upper arm, right?
Yeah, like the left shoulder.
Shoulder. Yours was the shoulder, Brun's was the arm. Yeah, the way that these sigils interact with the surface, quote unquote, that they're on, a little bit different. Navos is kind of, I'm going to say, breathes, where it's kind of shifting outward and inward a little bit, at different rates and such, as it kind of moves across the shoulder region. And Brun's was more of like a band around the arm.
Do they
But again, similar
similar
building
styles?
blocks.
Yeah. Are they all the same color?
Yeah.
Like this yellowy color? Okay.
A little bit more like a spring green.
Oh, spring green. Okay. So they're yellow.
Does it ever look like it repeats?
Why don't you give me an Arcana?
Yeah, you should have done
You
that
could do,
first.
like,
You probably have a better Arcana score than I do.
I would if where did my cat just send my dice?
She ate them. Look at
Incredible.
them. I can see them in her belly. Just shake her. Shake her and see what you get. Like a magic 8 ball.
Can't
Maybe one of them will come out of her butthole.
Did you eat my dice? You ate
my
dice.
Have you ever seen those
eight.
jelly bean dispensers? It's like a bunny rabbit or something, and it poops them out.
Oh yeah, and like
You
wind
bop
it
them
up
on the
it
head, and it
walks.
poops it out.
Some of
Yeah,
them walk like the reindeer.
yeah.
For Christmas.
You rolled a nat 20.
That's a 16.
And remind me what your question was. I got distracted by
So
whatever that was.
Yeah, I know they're shifting and moving, but at a certain point, does it feel like it repeats, where it's like here's one specific one, then it goes to another, then to another.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're
catch-
talking question with the staticness.
You catch elements that repeat. Like there's kind of a primary segment to it that is fairly consistent with very minor adjustments, whereas kind of the outer reaches of yours in particular, the ones that are kind of expanding and shrinking and shifting back and forth, those are more volatile, where they're changing more often. And it's not like you've got a light show going on. It's this very gradual adjustment.
Mm.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to do in the privacy of this room?
Yeah, I think Duncan's ready for a nap.
Okay.
Put his little shoes on.
Yeah, I'll feel Thane's arm around my shoulder kind of like get a little heavy, and I'll try to walk them over to a bed or something.
Yeah, no beds available right now, but you can head back out to the main area and get
I have
kind of
a few or two.
situated, comfied up a little bit as best as you can
like
on a
here.
tile floor.
The dude's office.
So, as like Brun had left already, with his parting words of "be careful about the cops," basically.
Don't trust the police.
Yeah. You've heard plenty of commotion up and down the hall. Like there's a constant sound of medicine happening, I'll say.
The sounds of medicine.
The sounds of medicine. Sometimes the sounds of silence. So there's like a constant stream of people being transported back through. You had seen Duka and Brel, and Hio and Kanala move back through this hallway. So you would assume that they'd been treated back here. And while you've been talking, there have been a couple of voices outside the door, and kind of open the door a little bit, and there's people that are standing there like waiting to use the room. You can see they've got a stretcher behind them, and they're like,
people out there.
they're like, good, you're done. We do need in here. Thank you so much. And they're gonna like shove you out the door, basically, and start setting up a couple of people.
Duncan will apologize on his way out.
Yeah. And out in the main room, that general murmur has kind of settled a little bit. It's a little bit eerie, as well crafted as this place is, as much soul had gone into the making of it. It is still a very large space that is being used in a way that generally you don't ever want to see a space being used. Like, there's just kind of a general eeriness, discomfort to the atmosphere. And people have kind of like found little groups to hang out in. There's the children have been pulled off to kind of a corner. The kids without adults are being watched, and attempts at entertaining, right? Playing small games with them. So you can hear them, but intermingled with all of that is this heavy vibe. that even the fleeting joy of children is not letting up, right? And you very quickly can see where Brun is. He's pulled a couple of benches together to make a makeshift bed. Nobody has questioned that. Huh?
So we probably heard him snoring.
Yeah.
The first
I
thing you
joked
heard.
earlier about the ground is rumbling a little bit. As you get closer, like, he's got like a deep snore going on. Little bit of that wheeze still, but he has been patched up a bit
Okay.
to help stabilize him a little. It's still gonna suck for him to heal broken ribs and probably a cracked sternum, but it has been attended to at the best of capabilities. So there's a rumble from him. He is deep in sleep at the moment. Are you guys going to set up near him? You going to hang out toward a wall? Where are you going? Are you mingling with people? Because around this point, I'll say like 6 or 7 p.m.
Okay. Do I see any like other Vidarian paladins kind of just who aren't going out because they're kind of resting in a group, kind of talking amongst themselves?
Right now, give me a high or low, and I will roll for
Let's
that.
do low.
I rolled a 2. You do, in
That's
fact, see a group of paladins. A couple of them are snoozing, kind of a light snooze going on, where they are trying to rest while they can, basically. You get the sense that they've been hard at work all day. Several are mildly wounded, a couple moderately wounded. Most of them are trying to take this time to breathe.
Yeah. So they're all sleeping, or is there some of them like conscious?
It looks like you could wake them pretty quickly.
I don't want to wake them.
It is an uneasy sleep for these people.
Mm-hmm.
You see that the bishop and the paladin captain are back to their quote-unquote war table. They've got kind of papers spread. You see markers of different things, and they are.
So what Duncan is
They just
trying to do?
keep
He's
getting
trying
runners coming
to
through.
find other people, like himself, who are still awake. He just wants, because when the Vidarians pray, when these paladins pray, their voices are heard better together, especially under Velos, who promotes unity above most things. He was just looking for other conscious, who kind of look like they're just like weak and sitting and kind of taking a breath, to have like a sort of group prayer amongst them.
So, while the paladins themselves are beat and exhausted, among the clerics and the folks who are trying to heal right now, you see them taking shifts, kind of, where a couple will rest, and there are a couple that you do see with the fist and feathers insignia that are stretching their feet out and resting a little.
Okay. And yeah, I think Duncan will approach. If they don't look too
I'm gonna
upset about me approaching.
pause you right there then.
Absolutely.
We know what you're doing. What is everyone else doing for right now?
I would like to see if the druid group is still there. I'm not going to approach, just want to see if they have decided to look for Irgerson. And then after that, I would like to write in my journal for a little bit.
Okay, give me a high or low.
Oh,
Call high or low.
I'm gonna go high this time.
You can't get two twice.
All right. So, as you're looking around, you see that some of the group are arguing with one of the paladins by the door. So outside there was kind of the very clear exterior line of paladins who were making sure that nothing gets through. And then there were a couple that were closer to entryways, or like the big window, for example. Weaknesses in the exterior of the building. And you see a couple of them arguing with one of the paladins by the door. It seems like they are trying to leave at the moment.
Yeah.
Um,
If I could
And then-
try to hear anything, but I'm not gonna try to push.
Give me a perception. Active perception.
Does this help at all? Yeah, I'm gonna use my Cyclotrance.
Ooh.
Solve advantage
All right.
on this.
Little special thing.
Yeah, I want to try to use everything up. That might be good enough. Yeah. That's a dirty 20.
It is a heated argument on the side of the druids. They are very insistent that they be allowed out. And the paladin, keeping an eye on the door, is insisting that we risked our lives to get you safe in here. It is not safe to leave just yet, and we need your patience. I understand that there are people you want to see, people you want to find that are not here right now. We are doing what we can to bring people in. And the druid is saying about, you're not going to find her. Only we can find her right now. And it's just kind of a back and forth pushing from both sides. Where you can tell, like, the paladin is under orders really restrict the flow of people going out right now. It sounds like there are still skirmishes happening. There are still mild fires they're trying to put out, that kind of thing. So it's not a great time to let people out. As awful as that sounds.
Yeah, and in the time I spent with them, is there anything specific that I can pick up from them saying, we know how to find her? Is this like a location they may have talked about, or maybe something, a spell they could use?
Let me think about that one for a little bit. I will get back to you.
Yep.
Thane, is there anything that you are doing at this point in time?
Yeah, so Thane's going to lay down in the same area where Braun is. And they're going to pull out the piece of wood that they had collected. It was a couple sessions ago. And they're just like whittling away with that with like a small hunting knife. And while they're doing that, almost as like a mantra as they're going to sleep, 2,487. 2,487. Should have been more. Should have saved more. And they're just repeating that number over and over again, whittling away until they fall asleep.
Okay. So for now, that feels like a good place to take a quick break.
Sure.
We have objectives for when we all come back, and we will sort through that in a bit. So how about about a 10-minute break?
Okay.
Maybe
That's fine with me.
13 if we're feeling feisty.
Sounds good.
All right, back in a bit.
All right, goodbye.
Craig's getting antsy.
Oh!
Whoa.
Oh yeah, that was a good break. Got myself some cheese sticks. No! Almost dropped one. Good stuff. Evan, I'm looking forward to Thane and Duncan debating their
Political
ideologies.
politics.
Yeah, one day.
I'll have to have a prayer off.
Thane doesn't pray.
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess they don't have to because you're collective. You
They,
just think it.
They only. We're not part of anything. We're not like. I won't say anything. I won't.
Okay.
I won't share much. Maybe it'll come out later. But yeah, Thane doesn't pray, but when they're angry, many things become prey. Yeah, you get it?
Mm-hmm. I see it.
Man, I'm so ready. I'm gonna pass out as soon as we're done.
In real life or in game?
In real life.
It's been a long day, huh?
Dragon.
What a mood. Tomorrow is kayak day with several high schoolers, and I am excited because kayaks. Less excited because high schoolers.
I love
Today was
kayaking.
Today was 96 second graders. We were expecting 75. And I wasn't even part of this program today, and I was exhausted. Our poor intern had to help with it, and she just started today.
It's wild. I got my first major hearing coming up in July, so I'm pretty pumped for that.
First major?
Yeah,
Explain.
yeah. This is I had to do the whole criminal complaint. Like, it's not just a citation. This is like the big thing with a potential jury trial and all kinds of stuff. We had a guy who followed another. I think I talked about this already. I know Derek knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
Guy followed another guy into the bathroom in the picnic area. Forced his way into the bathroom. Propositioned himself to the guy who was actively using the bathroom at the time. Used some very colorful language. Our guy told him to leave, and he did, thankfully. But this guy has a history of doing these things. And, the fact he forced his way into the bathroom to try to, like, potentially have his way with the person inside is,
That is
not
wild.
kosher. Not good. So, yeah, I'm throwing the book at him. I think I did have
Eat 'em.
10. I did have 10 charges, including felonies, but the ADA out of Center County was like, no, let's drop it down to 5. So there's just 3 misdemeanors now, but it'll still be a a jury trial and this guy can end up on a sex offender list, which is my hope. So
Get him.
that's the hope. So yeah, exciting stuff.
Sorry, I am also furiously munching on things.
I'm waiting to actually eat until after. I'll fall asleep in my food.
I'm so sorry to be keeping you awake.
No, it's fine. It's only 8:30, so I really should be up anyway.
All right, 8:30. Banter over. Welcome back, friendos. When last we left. So, Duncan,
Yes.
you were looking for some people to pray with.
That's what I was doing in my downtime.
You've located some hapless victims.
Hapless victims. Hopefully not too hapless.
No, you are able to join them for long enough to do your prayers. How long do you think that takes?
Well, I can make it literal because that's what I was doing in our bathroom break here. Is I literally wrote one. So.
By all
That's what he was
means.
doing.
So I'm gonna approach these clerics. They're kind of taking their break. I noticed that they're wearing Vidarian colors and symbols and things, and kind of like reaching out a hand. Excuse me, are you guys busy at the moment? I was wondering if you would join me in a quick prayer. Dark times as these, you know.
Yes, of course. I honestly, I thought you were about to ask for more healing. I'm afraid
I
we're
could
tapped
use
at the
more,
moment
but
for that.
no.
You and
this,
everyone else. What a
I was
prayer
just,
would be lovely.
I'm kind of just sharing in our faith because, you know, dark times as these kind of require us to resolve ourselves.
They do.
So I'm gonna kind of
a prayer would be lovely.
I'm gonna kind of walk over to them and kneel down and kind
I'll
of
kind of shift to allow you into the group.
and if everybody could bow their heads, and I'll kind of kneel down in like a kneel stance with my hand on my chest and my head down. O Holy One, who bears the light in these shadowed times, please hear us. I speak as a sword of Vidar, whose watch never ends. Brothers and sisters, though the ground shakes and the sky darkens, know that you are not alone. By this silent oath of the ever-watchful, I pray the strength into your body and the clarity into your hearts. May your hands not falter in healing. May your voices not fail in prayer. Velos, Vidar, keeper of our honored souls, I ask of you to stay guard at the borders of our sanctuary. Let no beast find the innocent, nor harm find the unjust. Turn aside our despair as you would turn aside your blade. To you, our Lord, I send this prayer, not just as words, but as a shield for our souls, hammered by the forge of our resolve. I'll kind of look my head up and look at these other clerics. Stand firm. You are not alone. In the name of Velos, the greatest of us, let it be so. And I'll kind of stand up and thank them for their time.
And they will murmur between them, Eidolon, inspire us.
And I'll kind
of nod in thanks.
nod, and and I'll head back towards the rest of our company.
Navos. Why don't you roll a d12 to see how many pages you fill? And what you writing?
Save this in my prayer book. Duncan's Bible. The King Duncan Bible.
King. Lofty goals.
King James has a reference.
So
Yeah, I know.
This is a 5, but this one is going to be a little different.
Ooh. Do tell.
So in this case, with that weight gone for now, Navos will be writing something similar to like it has been quite some time since having full control over an entry. It is horrifying, but I do thank you for giving me some moment of respite. I don't know how long this will last, but I will take in as much as I can. I don't know what your plans are, but please do not make this happen again. I will stand back if it is the learning that has been causing this. But do not affect anyone else besides me. In Lyra's name. And these 5 pages I would like to draw out as best I can morning glories.
Okay. Do you ever read back what you've written?
There are times, but it definitely hurts because most of these are memories that I don't want to remember. But I have a feeling something like this I will pull up in the future.
In amongst the sprawling morning glories, your hand curls leaves and weaves vines. And as you kind of look at the piece as a whole, spreading across these pages, of what do you dream is mixed in. Unintentionally by your hand. So that is there for you. You did not feel the pressure that you are used to. And yet your hand was guided. So fun with that. Are you doing anything else for now?
No, I don't think so at this point.
Thane. What you getting up to?
At this point, Thane's just sleeping. Yeah, they were carving and just doing that mantra of the people who survived and how it should have been more. and eventually they.
What were you carving?
We'll see. It was a piece of wood that they had picked up a couple sessions ago that they've been kind of. They were working on before all of this began, but it hasn't really taken shape yet.
Can you make for me, like a sleight of hand, perhaps? Or do you have proficiency with some tools? Anything like that?
So, I was wondering if I could do performance, but add my proficiency bonus, because I've been doing this for a long time. Like the whittling.
I will allow performance with a dexterity modifier.
Right, so that would be a 15, but let me see what my... Oh yeah, 17.
The lines that you cut, the shapes that you remove, do you have a picture in mind? You don't have to tell me what it is. You do.
I do. Yes.
That picture in your mind is solid. The instructions that your mind has created, your hands are following. It has not fully formed yet, but you can see that it will, given a bit more time. This is not yet an overworked piece. This is not a wasted attempt. This one you have a good feeling about. You drift off to sleep with the rumble of Brunn. A consistent bass line. And it's not comfortable. You have your gear, so you do have a bedroll. Brunn had fashioned kind of a pillow / face cover to block out the light a bit better and kind of muffle noise around his head. He seems fairly well settled into his space that he has carved out for himself, unashamed of the space he takes up in this moment. The small metal dragon that has been hanging out with him, when you came out, it was curled kind of just on top of him, rising and falling with his breathing. It wandered over to look over your shoulder as you were working. And you could hear kind of the clinking and twitching of the metal behind you as you worked as well. And unless you're going to interact with it, it will watch until you stop moving.
Thane probably doesn't even notice. They, for one, like, they are so just broken at this point, but also distracted, and also working on this, but they're very much in their own head. So, yeah, we'll say they don't even realize this is happening.
Once you stop working and start snoring, or whatever sounds you make as you sleep and bleed a little, the small metal dragon will return to its perch on Brunn, looking like a toy. Not a toy, but a little statue. Duncan, with your prayer complete, are you returning to
Yes,
Navos
I'm
or
thanking them for their
Thane,
time, and I'm heading back to where we're kind of gathering. I'm assuming around Brunn's sleeping / dead body.
Is that where the body is?
That's where the body is, under him. Just gotta move him first. And to kind of like get my things together, I'll take my chain off, put it down next to me, and kind of sit back in the pew as much as I can and close my eyes and kind of replay the day's events over in my head as it kind of drifts off to sleep.
On your way back, you realize you are being followed.
Okay.
There is... hold, please. Let me pull up
Holding.
those notes. I did not... I did not prepare for the words I was spewing. There's a
Welcome to the
human man
club.
following you. His footsteps are light and measured. Not in a way that says that he feels like he needs to, but in a way that this is a practiced thing for him. This type of movement. It is unconscious, the way he's moving. And he steps very deftly between people, avoiding tripping on people or jostling them or disrupting others who are trying to rest. And he follows you over toward Navos and the others.
While I'm
Excuse
with
me.
them, yeah, okay. While I'm with them, I'm kind of still off a little bit to the side on my own kind of separate pew.
Yeah. Are you one of the folks who helped with the durable draft?
The Dribble Draft.
The stables, the beast petting zoo.
Oh, yes. Me and my companions here kind of give them a nod, but I'll still maintain eye contact. What can I do for you?
He'll hold out his hand. Stroth Firebrand.
And I'll shake it.
Those were my beasts.
Stroth Firebrand. Okay. Oh,
Quinala
you really
told me that you spared them.
as I'll spare
And
anything
for
I
that,
can.
I am grateful.
I
They
was just doing my best.
and he looks uncomfortable.
Hmm.
I don't know what happened with them.
I think we're all trying
There
to answer that
was-
question.
There was an explosion, and
Hmm.
we heard fighting. So myself and my partner waves back toward one of the side hallways where people are being treated.
Mhm.
We thought we might help, and knowing my beasts, it never occurred that they would attack anyone. Terry has been worse. His temper is not usually very bad, but every once in a while a little snippy.
Yeah, I got a
Never-
couple of bites from
never like
from
this.
Terry.
And he looks even more uncomfortable. Like very
But I'm
oh,
all right.
man.
I'm still here. It's okay.
I
Not here to press charges.
I never would have thought any of them would attack anyone. They've been my companions for most of their lives.
If it's any consolation to you, I think there are a lot of things out of whack about today. I think this is more of an outlier than a qualifier of behavior.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I don't really have money to repay you. But
Absolutely
if
not.
you're willing,
There was no money required.
he's reaching into one of his pouches, and you can see he's got several pockets and pouches, and there are ropes and kind of attachments, collar type clips, that kind of thing, leads and such. I don't have money to offer you, but I would like to share some knowledge, if you would be willing to learn.
Do love me some knowledge. By all means, please.
Do you do much cooking or anything with herbs?
And Duncan's gonna kind of chuckle to himself. I've been known to cook from occasion, but fortunately I got 2 right hands.
And like he'll crack a little bit of a smile. Perhaps your party members would like to learn as well. He kind of gestures to at least
Brun's asleep.
Navos.
Navos doesn't even know who he is. Probably doesn't know how to cook. Thane, it probably is beneath him. We all share in the cooking. You can sure ask, but I doubt that any of them
Navos,
need to know how to cook.
they're close enough for you to hear this.
Yeah, I want to hear this. I'll say, Duncan, did you forget about my frying pan? This isn't just for knocking out kneecaps.
I honestly thought it was just for knocking out kneecaps. I
get it.
Genuinely didn't know if you knew what a frying pan was. If it was just a big piece of iron.
It is very heavy.
You know.
Everything will be
to show you how
about you.
kneecaps are privilege.
Mm-hmm. They're not right.
Would you like to learn as well, then?
Of course. What is it?
The man wants to teach us how to cook.
Oh, yes.
It's cooking of a sort. And
Cooking of a
he'll
sort.
kind of come over toward where you're set up, Navos, giving space to the sleeping individuals.
Yeah, I can.
And he'll produce this kind of it's an off-white block, kind of suet looking, like suet fat. This is the basis for several of our balms that we find helpful out in the wilds. And you don't see any insignias on him, but he's clearly somebody who works with animals and spends a lot of time outdoors pursuing them, probably. You would imagine that's how he ended up with a black bear and such, is he captured them.
Genuinely
And,
the least exotic of the animals.
Well, we don't travel too far. We try to keep things somewhat local. And he'll produce an herbalist pack of tools. Mortar and pestle and a variety of herbs and things. And he'll start talking you through how this base material is made.
Mm-hmm.
You start with beast fat, and it is rendered down, and he starts going into this process, kind of talking you through it as he sets up like a little bit of a burner stove, and it smells like bacon frying, like that oil, that fatty oil.
His nose so he doesn't wake up, try to eat it.
His face is covered. He's probably fine. And he'll talk you through it for takes about 2 hours, where he is combining different materials into it and rendering it down into this almost bouillon, like fat bouillon. And somebody please roll for me 1d4.
I'll got it. That is a 2.
At the end of it, he will give you 4 portions of this base material. You can mark that as potion base, just for ease. The materials for each portion would cost you 5 gold per. with this base, you combine it with. There are many variations, depending on where you are. But at least for this region, which I'm most familiar with, balm nettle, null root, and the inner bark of redwood trees. Usually I stick to the smaller trees. It's a little easier to get through the bark. And he will walk you through the combination process for adding that in. And it takes about another half hour. So at this point, it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock. You can see the moon starting to show through that the skylight. And he will produce for you 1 healing potion.
Ooh.
Equivalent. Healing salve, healing balm, whatever you'd like to call it.
Bacon flavored
that
healing
is
potion.
This is a woodsman's healing potion. So you have base material for 4 potions.
Mm-hmm.
You have the recipe and the process. Navos, if you wanted to be like writing these things down, well, same with Duncan, taking notes on the process and procedure. In the future, should you decide to try and do this process yourselves, that will grant you assistance to have those notes.
Okay. Yeah, Duncan would have those notes.
Multiple. I wanted to pull up. So I want to take these packets I got from Jurgensen, see if there's anything. Maybe make a better potion or some other type of effect. If you don't have the answer now, we can like in the future. But it was like that Mulweb, the Twillwood, the Death Bloom.
As you kind of tell him the names, I am unfamiliar with those plants and their properties. The druids that you got them from would probably know more. Of course, these are not plants that grow here.
Roll to see if he would know what they would be used for, because he does know plants a lot, and he is proficient in medicine because he likes.
I will say, this would be a nature or arcana.
Okay, I'll do nature.
And the DC is 16.
Okay.
Is there any way?
I got a 6. Can the DC be a 6 retroactively? Pizza. So no, I wouldn't know.
What kind of help do you think you would be offering to dig through Duncan's brain?
Yeah, see, the only thing I really
he could be providing me with context. Where those ingredients come from.
I know what they look like and what they could produce once fully grown.
You have the vague descriptions that Jurgensen gave you.
Yeah.
But you know enough about plants that you would have to test them to see what kind of properties a potion or salve or balm made with them would produce for you.
Okay.
Yeah, Duncan, these are not plants you are familiar with.
No. I probably know them by some other stupid name that I picked up along the road.
Possibly, but according to Navos, these were druid specials.
Oh, okay.
These were druid specials. From Pylora, where the druids gather, as Jurgensen had mentioned. And especially the Death Bloom, like that is different depending on the grave it's planted on. Like you never know what you're going to get from that.
Okay.
Mystery. Now, this gentleman showed us what to do with the potion base. Did he show us at all how to create the potion base, or where we can get more from?
Yeah, he took that 2 hours, kind of taking you through the process of rendering some fat to produce more. And that's how you ended
Okay.
up with 4 portions. He was going to
All
give
right,
you
so
2, and he produced 2 more while you were chatting.
we have both the recipes for making the potion base and for making the additional potions once we have the base, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
That recipe is good for the local region.
Mhm.
You would need to find either those 3 known plants or experiment and see if something else could be substituted in, or learn it from somewhere else, or play around and find out.
Okay.
And then using bear fat with that extra iron, that gives us advantage on strength as well, right?
No.
Invigorate my bones. You need the calcium from cow's milk to strengthen your bones.
This whole thing is Alexis being nice because we don't have a healer. I'm now figuring it out, where she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make it so you guys
Agreed.
can cook because you suck."
Duncan was supposed to be that support healer. I know he sucks now, but he's only level 2. I was going to build him like that.
And how do you
This
help
is
others?
Alexis
No.
pulling
metagaming?
in mechanics to create your own things.
I also
Um,
like that. I like making potions. Not going to go on a tangent, but I'll talk about it after the end.
So, yeah, it is fairly late by this point, and when he finishes chatting with you, and like during the 2.5 hours it took to produce these salves, he is going to tell you about his animals, the beasts that he has tamed, and he mentions that he learned it from a half-orc who owns a place called the Loot Tavern. Loot. And he holds up a small carved totem. It's some kind of winged thing. And he says, this one is most special to me, but she was injured while we were assisting around the town. If that's something of interest, I highly recommend looking for the Loot Tavern. It moves. It does not stay in one place. But that's part of the fun, is finding it. Have any questions for Stroth or anything you would
Does
like
he
to
know
say to
the
him?
half-orc's name?
Heliana.
Heliana. Yeah. Okay. Other than that, I don't have any additional questions, but I do have a genuine thank you to give to him.
This is my thanks to you for not slaughtering my beasts, as many would have done. You showed them kindness, and this is the least I can do to repay it. They are
And-
special and dear to me.
Yes, and you know they seem like a threat, but it's times like that we got to fall back on what you know. And Rule 88: show mercy to those who earn it. They were just beasts, kind of caught up in the whirlwind. They were probably spooked. It's the least I could do.
And he will kind of review your notes with you, just to make sure you didn't miss anything. That
Don't
was
miss
super
nothing.
important. You want to roll for that? No.
Sure, I can if you want me to. But
You know what?
I would.
How do we
I
feel
would
about
like to state that
intelligence or
one of-
wisdom?
Oh, probably wisdom.
Give me a wisdom. See how good your notes are.
I will say one of Duncan's rules is listen and observe, and you will know. That is a 15.
Your notes are pretty good. He does correct like one small stage of it, just for extra clarity.
I showed me wrong, but whatever.
This man knows what he's doing. But,
Listen, I was
with
healing
that-
people while he was in diapers. But
That may be so, but he shared the wisdom of the woods with you as thanks. And
I-
when the process is complete and your conversations are done, he will excuse himself and return back the hallway.
Mhm.
Anything else you lot would like to do?
no, it's
I
getting
know
too late
Thane
for
is
Duncan.
asleep.
He's exhausted.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day.
All right. That feels like a good place to end off then.
Mm.
I did
Okay,
promise
perfect.
a slightly shorter session, but
shorter.
I think we covered just enough for the evening.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't really
New
go
recipe
anywhere, so the-
unlocked.
I'm still there. Yep. Talking about that, this is what I was going to bring up, but I didn't want to ruin the momentum. Have you ever heard of Obajima, the game system?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, have
book
you
is
seen
on
the
its way.
potion crafting system? Oh, I
I
pre-ordered it too.
have.
That I'm trying to work it into a D&D session or D&D theme currently, so that I can put it in my game. It is beautiful, and if that could be part of this would be great.
So, part of what I'm doing is Heliana's. The other part is Obajima's
Mhm.
potion crafting. That's
Oh,
where
it's
the
beautiful. I loved it.
that's where playing around with different things,
hmm
different materials. I think that's where Obajima is going to slot in really well.
When I was looking into it, the theme of it, like the Studio Ghibli, like fantasy, Japanese kind of thing, I was buying into it. As soon as the potion crafting system, immediately sold. Done. I bought it.
Before Obajima was announced, I had gotten a game called Eisenclouded, which is heavily it's a series of campaigns or
Mhm.
not campaigns, adventures, pre-written adventures that are based on various Ghibli things. So it doesn't go into like mechanics and things, but the
Oh,
stories
Unclouded.
are
Just Mononoke, yes. I was like, where's that from?
yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, that is all I have for you tonight, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having
Officially,
us.
I will end this session. I'm glad y'all can make it, even though Curtis is stuck in corporate hell.
Mm.
Yeah, curious to see what that
great
football
game.
theory was.
Should have quit his job. Whatever.
I have a
Not committed to the
star
sport.
for I have a star for Duncan, or the prayer that that Evan
Oh,
wrote during
like
the
it?
break. Yeah, I'm like, what is Evan working on over there? And
I
then,
was like
yeah,
writing as quick as I could.
Yeah, that was
I was
crazy.
absent to see him writing.
Oh, go back on the recording. You'll see me just like this
Oh, I
for like
will.
10 minutes.
What were you
I
saying,
went to the
Derek?
bathroom and came back.
I was just saying, I was trying to think of something that I was gonna write in my journal, but like that wasn't even close to the prayer. Like I was trying to like as we were going, but yeah, that was great.
Well,
Very atmospheric.
You like,
I loved it.
all right, you're setting me up for a prayer, and then we took a bio break. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna write one instead of just saying, oh yeah, he prayed. He prayed. He did the prayer.
he prayed.
He prayed. He did prayer.
He prayed. Real good.
I actually
Well-
might write a bunch more and then just use them throughout the campaign.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I gotta
So,
get something ready for
kinda-
this
Religion.
like dream nightmare that's gonna be happening for next game. Whatever this is.
So, real quick, like, I just have to say that this is precisely why I am so thrilled to have you all at my table. Like, you've gotten so into the whole story and the world and your characters that, like, you're writing prayers. You're, like, learning about tarot and you're preparing so many things and, like, getting so into the character that it doesn't matter if your actions as a character are going to screw people over later. You are sticking to who your character is. Like,
Just looking at someone.
that is so incredible.
I mean,
and,
that's what we're here to do, right? Like,
And like the help you
enjoy
guys have
ourselves.
offered with developing the paladin orders, which Derek, I would love to chat with you sometime this week.
Yeah.
Like, it's just phenomenal, like how much support you're pouring into this. And I truly believe that is making for so much better of a story than I could ever have created by myself. So, stars all around. Y'all are amazing, and I love having you here.
I love
I
that
love to
we
be here.
had the opportunity, like our characters had the opportunity to breathe for a moment and like share a little bit of what's going on with each of us. My hope was that we would discover more pieces of the puzzle. I'm not sure if we did that. Maybe we did.
More questions than answers. I'm sure we did.
More
We just haven't
questions.
connected
More
them
question mark.
correctly.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you brought
Like we got to
And,
take one of these puzzle pieces and flip it over. Oh,
Yeah.
So,
But I'm really looking I feel bad for Curtis not having been a part of it, but we'll get
can
him
watch
in
it back.
at some.
yeah, I'll put that up.
So the Mind Flayer mask, Andrew got to decide the design of the mask that was handed to him. That was part of his session negative 0.4. So that's entirely on him. But you've rolled.
see, I was thinking
very
because
well.
mind flayers come from different planets. Celestial Collective, maybe he's from a different planet. You know, like they're like the Borg out there.
So
Wee-oo.
I picked the mask itself. I didn't pick the quote.
Well, yeah. You couldn't read the
So-
quote.
You can't
you
read.
couldn't read
I
what
can
was
read. I
written
didn't read
inside.
what it was.
You should have given him a bunch of unwritten garbage, and you got to pick one through one of them.
That would have been so funny. Like one of those tattoos
speaking-
that like
Mhm.
someone gets of another language and it's just gibberish.
Yep. Speaking of that, Derek,
Mhm.
thank you for playing ball with that. I was
well-
looking through languages, and like Nevos has such a list,
Yeah.
and I was glad to see Undercommon was on there because I'm like, okay, this fits. It was
It-
great.
After waiting like 10 minutes for me to see the message. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just didn't pop up for some reason.
That is all good.
Right.
Any
Alrighty, game
wishes for
guys.
me? Anything you'd like to see going forward?
No. I
Did
think,
this feel enough like a campfire at which
Yeah, it
at
felt
which
like a
to
campfire.
rest? Okay,
Mhm.
Mhm.
because that was a request, so I wanted to make sure I fulfilled that. This was about where I was planning to let you guys take a little breather anyway, so it worked out really well.
Great.
Yeah, we got
Perfect.
some extra character moment stories in. You know.
Yeah, that's another star for you guys. I got to sit here and shut up, and that was great
That's always
because like you guys kept it going without my input. Like I didn't have to pull teeth or anything. You all just kind of built the moment yourselves, and again, just simply incredible. And I'm so proud of this table. But gonna go make Curtis jealous of what he missed out on. The bromance.
Go
the
get it.
cooking session.
Alrighty.
He's gonna come right into the frickin' Inquisition. Like
Uh-huh.
the last thing he
What did you
knew,
guys
he was
do?
walking into Sanctuary.
So I did talk to him in advance to get kind of his feelings on what would happen in such a situation, like how he would react to certain things. So hopefully I did well enough with that. Unfortunately, I do not have the silky smooth voice of Curtis to go along with it, but good enough.
This
for another
game
time.
The session did suffer a little bit, not having that. But next week,
Next week,
Well,
hopefully.
That's on Curtis. I will
You
take
got another
no
boss
blame.
coming in.
all right. I'm gonna go sleep. Good
yeah.
game, guys.
Game.
It was a lot of fun. See you next week.
I'm glad
Next
you could
week.
make it.
Same time.
Me too.
Yeah. Sleep well.
Goodbye,
Same
everybody.
time.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.